Cage Minds, Micah Frankel at Nobody's Villains. We're ahead of APFC 19. What we were planning to be. Interview is brought to you by our friends at Dubby. 10% off with the checkout code Cage Minds to keep up the energy drink. And the hair is done at Barber, Gabe's Fades here at Lobo Plaza in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Frankie Baca.
Yeah.
Heard you were preparing for a big opportunity, had one lined up. Fill us in on the details.
Yeah, so I was supposed to fight on the APFC card and my opponent pulled out. So my first opponent pulled out, so they tried to give me another one, and then this last one pulled out as well. So it's kind of sucks because when you train so hard, you know, it's a missed opportunity. But I'm just seeing it as a little setback for a big comeback later. So I have another fight that's supposed to be lined up in October for the Sparta card.
So you're hoping to get up to Colorado for that one?
It's gonna be here.
Oh wait, we're gonna get Sparta in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Somebody just broke news. That's cool. Sparta coming back to New Mexico. They had promised me last year when we did a charity function together that would be happening. So cool.
Yeah.
Sparta Combat League gonna be back in New Mexico. Now, as far as the APFC event goes, you kind of thought you were going to be on this card, though. They kept telling you that no matter what happened, it seemed like they were going to find an opponent for you.
Yeah. I mean, they're missing out. You know, I'm a great prospect. So I've been training my whole life. So I'm ready. You know, it's been a long time coming.
Training your whole life. Let's get into that story. When did it begin with martial arts?
I've wrestled since I was like 6 or 7. I've been training with John for the past couple of years. I've had a couple of fights. I'm 2-0 right now, so I'm super excited.
You went from wrestling to transitioning here to training with John Dotson.
Yeah.
At what point in that wrestling journey did you see the UFC? Did you see MMA and say, that's what I want to go do?
You know, it just came to me. You know, I've always been into it. You know, I've always liked watching UFC. I always liked watching MMA. But I was like, I don't want to do that. You know, right after high school, everyone was telling me, you need to do that. Everyone was telling me you need to wrestle in college, and that wasn't. I was so tired of cutting weight and doing that. I was like, I don't want to do that. And then just recently, like a few years ago, you know, like someone told me, come in and train with John. And I went and trained with John, and I was like so inspired. I was like, wow, you know, like a guy that puts in this much work, this much effort into something he loves. Like I really, I took that in. And then after that, it was like glue. And then I just kept coming back in. So, yeah.
And we've seen you, Nowhere to Run, kickboxing world, coming from a wrestling background. What has that been, getting your feet wet, amateur kickboxing?
It was nervous at first, you know, like your first fight, you know, you're like, wow, when you sign that paper, and when you say yes to a fight, it's like, wow, you know, like I could go out there and I could get hurt, you know, and of course that's scary, but where there's fear, there's also strength, you know, and I'm a firm believer, you know, I put God first in everything, and I know if I put in the work and I believe in God, He's gonna take care of me, and I know that. I've seen that.
Where did that swagger come from that you have? Because not fear. I don't think there's fear is the words that we would use to describe. There's an attitude and a ferocity with you as soon as the walkout's happening. Where does that come from?
Well, I have a little bit of a street fighter background. I've been in a lot of fights. You know, being a smaller guy, you've got to prove yourself, definitely. But I just don't want to lose. You know, I'd rather die than lose, pretty much. It's like it's everything to me. Something about that word, toughness, it's everything, you know.
Frankie Baca, amateur on the rise, not going to be at APFC, but we'll see him soon at Sparta. Thank you for the time, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.